Hey my pretties, it's the Queen of Lions here, and today I'm going to be doing an opinion video. Now this is another discussion video. Now, today I am going to be doing another video, which it's basically another shock story I came across sometime, I think it was like a couple years ago, when I think this was like posted on fanfiction 4chan, and today I'm going to be explaining giving my thoughts and opinions per se on this shock creepypasta story called Bill Snaps. It's a King of the Hill creepypasta that is a shock story, to put it bluntly. Now, some of you guys might have remembered, hearing this story. Maybe some of you guys have looked up this story at one point. I don't really know how many of you guys looked up at the story, but if you have, then you're probably wondering, what my thoughts are on it. Because I do remember Shadow Reader said that Bill Snaps was a terrible creepypasta. I mean, I will agree with him on this. But I have, to give up my thoughts and opinions on, well, you could definitely say, on this particular story called Bill Snaps. Now, I heard of this creepypasta story being narrated on Gory Parodies Productions channel like 7 years ago, but I wasn't really into creepypastas at the time. So, with that being said, I'm gonna give out my thoughts on this story. And if you're asking, no, I do not plan to narrate this story. I have no plans on narrating it, mainly because it's disgusting. It's basically, to put it simple as it is, because I can't really say too much or go into detail about it, because it's basically, to put it as simple as this, it's basically Sweet Apple Massacre, but with King of the Hill. So this is a King of the Hill shock story that I came across sometime, a few years ago. But, even though I wasn't really into creepypastas at the time, this story was rather disturbing. And I mean, really messed up and disturbing. Now, I can't really go into too much detail on this story, explain the whole plot, because there's certain subject matters that involves some really serious topics that I cannot mention on this platform, but most of you guys would probably, know if you've read this story. Now, I did hear this story from Shadow Reader's older channel sometime in 2018 when he narrated this one. Now, apparently the user a user by the name of the Shadow Reader Archives managed to re-upload that Shadow's original narration of that story. And I'm gonna say right now, I'm basically saying this right now, that I have my thoughts and opinions to share on Bill Snaps. Now Bill Snaps. Most of you guys are probably wondering, really wondering. So I'm gonna sit here and say this right now, is that, well, Bill Snaps is basically a creepypasta story 3, and it's a shock story at that, with King of the Hill. And basically the person posted on the fanfiction to 4chan as a joke to the King of the Hill fandom, and they got a lot of reactions and popularity. But the author definitely stated in the author's note that he or she was ashamed by their creation for obvious reasons, but seeing the success that everyone makes mistakes, he decides to re-upload this story. But it is on fanfiction.net, and that's one of the stories I'm able to find this one on. I think somebody also re-uploaded this on Reddit. I could be wrong, however, though, because I don't really know a whole lot, so there's definitely that. I don't really know a whole lot, but you can definitely state this now, that when I first saw this story, I honestly have to sit here and say that this story honestly was pretty messed up, to be completely and utterly honest. I'm not gonna lie right now. This story was definitely messed up in many ways I can count. Now, basically, this story is about Bill, who is one of Hank Hill's friends, ends up snapping by going into some rage for whatever reason. He gets really aggravated for whatever reason, and Bill starts to, basically attack Bobby. Well, basically attack Hank and his family, and I can't really go into too much pain because, well, I could definitely say because, there's certain words and all that I cannot really say, so, yeah, I can definitely state now, if you read the story, you probably will already know, but in case if you haven't, read, this story, I would recommend not looking at it, but if you want to go ahead and read it, it's your choice. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it though, so, yeah, let me, start off with saying that, basically, Bill goes nuts all of a sudden and starts to violate, Bobby, Peggy, and Hank in many different ways. I mean, it's kind of the same thing like Big Macintosh did to the Cutie Mark Crusaders in Sweet Apple Massacre, but from what I do know for a full and fact, it involves just the family. It involves the family. It doesn't involve the Cutie Mark Crusaders or any, well, kids except for, well, Bobby. Bobby gets violated first, and I can't really say too much, and that's why I'm saying violated, because I can't say the actual word, because it's not ad-friendly. I'm definitely saying that now, but Bill does some really messed up and gross things to Bobby, then goes over and does the same thing to Peggy, and he does pretty much the same thing with, well, you could definitely say to Hank, only Bill goes ahead and tortures, Hank even more with, let's say for an example, basically, he gets a power drill from what I do know, and, tortures Hank's, private part. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say private part because I'm not going to say what he actually did, because you guys might already know what I'm talking about if you've seen the story. Like if you've seen the King of the Hill story, like if you've seen the narrations from either the Shadow Reader or even gory parodies, you probably may know about, what I'm talking about. And I mean, Bill ends up going for torturing Hank Hill in many ways, and I mean, it's really messed up to be completely honest, where he basically gets really messed up, and let's just say it gets really messed up, and it gets really messed up. Like, I mean, basically at the end, Bill, basically kills the Hank. So, like, Hank and his family. That's basically what the story is. So, yeah, I mean, you guys might have your own opinions on the story. You guys might have different opinions, but to me personally, I honestly really think that this story really was terrible. Like, flat right terrible. It's a really messed up story in many ways I can count. Like, it involves Hank Hill getting tortured, and involves, Bill torturing him, Bobby, and, Peggy. I mean, it goes into really gory and really messed up details, and I mean, there's a lot of disgusting stuff that was thrown into the story. I mean, when I first heard of this story from Shadow Reader, before I, Shadow Reader on his old channel sometime in 2018, I honestly felt a little, well, I mean, I enjoyed Shadow's narration of the story, but the story of its own self of what it, went out, it really sickened me. So, and the same thing to go to Gory Parody's, narration of the story. So that's why I decided to go ahead and, check out this story for my own self and see if it was any good or anything like that. And when I read the story from beginning to end, I honestly felt sick, Like, kind of like how I did with Sweet Apple Massacre. I didn't puke or anything, thankfully, but I couldn't eat for a good hour. It was how disgusting it was. I mean, I couldn't eat for a good hour. That was how disgusting Bill Snaps was. It was just as disgusting as Sweet Apple Massacre. Well, I think we can all agree that all shock stories are disgusting, but I'm just saying that I find it to be disgusting that Killing of the Hill, well, somebody actually took it far in this. So, yeah. Oh, pardon me about that. So, there is definitely that. I mean, I've seen messed up stories already myself, so it's not really a big deal, but you know, I came across some really shock stories, so yeah, there's definitely that. So, I'm going to sit here and be completely honest. I did not like this story. I mean, it's disgusting because it goes into detail on what happens. It's messed up. It doesn't really work, and it gets really, really messed up, and it goes from 1 to 100 pretty quickly. So, yeah, that I definitely would have to say that it's a pretty messed up story, to be 100% honest. I mean, I've seen this story being narrated from a few people, and I could definitely tell that we're disgusted regardless of, you know, this story. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna say right now that this story, in my opinion, I honestly started, you know, feeling a bit sick while I was reading through this story. I mean, it's very messed up in many ways I can count. It's a very messed up story, and I think the story is just completely messed up. I mean, I don't hate this story, but to be honest, it's just a messed up shock story, but with King of the Hill in it. So, yeah. I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and basically the author wrote this story, so an author who wrote this story, I'm definitely gonna say that now they probably, you know, have done other shock stories as well. I mean, I remember Shadow did say that the only thing he did have to say about Bill Snaps was that it was decently written, but the subject matter of it was just completely crazy. And I mean, I will have to agree, the subject matter of the story was just completely crazy of its own self. So, yeah, that's why the story was pretty messed up of its own self. So, yeah. I mean, to people who think, oh, this, why did you write this story? This is so disgusting. I mean, if you're gonna go ahead and attack the author by saying, why did you write this story? This is disgusting and all that. Don't do that. Like, please do not do that. Don't go sit there and, don't go sit there and attack the author for making, Bill Snaps, because the last thing we need is, anybody getting harassed. Like, we don't harass people. Yes, they may have write up some shocking horror stories and all that, but we don't attack people for it because it's not right. Don't go and attack this author for the story, which, I'm gonna say, don't go and attack the author. The best thing we can honestly do is just, we could just move on because it's just this fictional story. It doesn't involve actual people. I know I said this one in, Sweet Apple Massacre and story, and same with Dipper Goes to Taco Bell, and kind of like Trixie's Funhouse as well. But I thought we should take a mention of it, just in case you guys are wondering. Now, I'm definitely going to have to say, one thing I'm going to definitely state this right now is that do not go and attack the author. Yeah, you can criticize the story on any way you want, like give the story criticism and all that, but don't go and attack the author. So, one thing I have to say is that, Shadow did state that the story was decently written, but the subject matter was completely crazy. And I mean, I will agree with Shadow. I mean, the grammar was alright, and same with the sentence structuring and all that, but the story of its own self was just shocking, and it honestly made me sick. And if you guys are wondering, I have watched King of the Hill a couple times, but I haven't really watched it in a while because I really don't watch, a whole lot of TV anymore, so yeah, there's that. So, I mean, I guess that's all I have to say about, my review on this story. I don't like this story, but I respect your opinions. Like, if you like this story, I respect your opinion. If you don't like this story, I respect your opinion too. So, there's definitely that. I respect your opinion regardless. If you don't like this story, that's fine. If you like it, that's understandable because that's your opinion. We're all allowed to have our own opinions. So, anyways, with that said, what did you personally guys think of this story, Bill Snaps, Came the Hill Creepypasta? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better. Like I'm gonna say right now, if you like this story, I respect your opinion. If you don't like this story, then I don't blame you for not liking it. And yeah, feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below on this story. If you do end up checking out this story, I'm gonna say right now you're probably gonna feel sick afterwards. So yeah, I recommend you guys do not touch that story. I don't know why I did, but I decided, to go see what this story is about. Well, mainly just to see if I like it or not. So yeah, there's definitely that. So anyways, I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload. So that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.